morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become nice and present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position on a blanket or a cushion, block, something that allows your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and long and straight, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. And soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on the mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is our root chakra. So chakra is Sanskrit for wheels, and there are 7 major wheels of energy that run along our spine. The first wheel, chakra, is the root chakra. The root chakra has its own function in your physical and subtle body, like a room has its own function in your house. The root chakra is located at the base of your spine, so it's like the basement of your house, which provides the foundation for your home. When your house's foundation is stable, the rest of your house is safe and secure. The same principle applies to your root chakra. When your root chakra is balanced, when your root chakra is balanced, you feel grounded and safe and secure. When it's out of balance, either from being overactive or underactive or blocked, you may experience physical and or emotional disturbances, such as depression, which would be an overactive, or anxiety, which would be underactive. You may feel restless, which would be underactive, or lethargic, which would be overactive. You may have weight issues. Overweight would be a overactive root chakra, and being underweight would be underactive. And also you may experience some elimination issues. Constipation would be from having an overactive root chakra, and diarrhea would be from having an underactive root chakra. And these may be long-term patterns. You may have had them most, if not all, your life, or they might be situational, kind of an acute situation that you need to address. So to address these particular disturbances, yoga's toolkit of asanas, or the poses, pranayamas, meditations, and even the science of Ayurveda can help balance your chakra. So let's start with pranayama. Pranayama This particular pranayama, I'm probably going to do throughout the chakras. Actually, it was a yoga teacher of mine that I went to in Montpelier. She started every class with this particular pranayama. And it's the Nadi Shodhana pranayama, which Nadi is the channels that sit along your spine, and Shodhana is purification. So she liked to start every class with trying to get, that energy moving freely and flowing and balanced by doing this particular pranayama. So let's do it. We've done it tons of times before. You can use the mudra Vishnu, which is also a balance mudra. Take your fingers straight up, and then the index and the middle finger come down, leaving the other ones extended. And the activity of this is switching fingers on the top of the inhale. And if you don't want to use that mudra, you can just use your thumb and your index finger. That's fine. So we're going to start with placing our thumb alongside our right nostril and closing that, inhaling through our left nostril. When we reach the top of the inhale, we're going to switch fingers. We're going to bring the ring finger down to the left nostril and close that nostril and exhale through the right nostril. And then inhale through the right nostril. And when you reach the top of the inhale, we're going to close the right nostril with our thumb and exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left. Top of the inhale, switch fingers. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch fingers. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Switch fingers. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch fingers. Exhale. Inhale. Switch fingers. Exhale. Inhale. And just do a few more. I'm going to be quiet. And then we'll release, coming back to our normal breath. And for our meditation this morning, I'd just like to mention to you a meditation that really is part of the toolkit for the Root Chakra, and it's called a walking meditation. And it's simply going out in nature and walking and really trying to clear your mind, connecting with nature, not having the just thoughts of, what am I supposed to do, my to-do list, the anxiety, the depression, any of that, just kind of being present, walking, and preferably barefoot in the grass. A little early this time of year to walk barefoot, but it's the actual barefoot will connect you to the ground more. And the WebMD site talks about the walking meditation, or they call it earthing. And it lowers inflammation, and it's better for your blood pressure. It lowers your blood pressure. It enhances your sleep, allows you to sleep better, and allows your thyroid function to perform better. So there's actual physical benefits to that. along with just being nice, being out in nature. So just wanted to mention that to you. But for our meditation today, I'm going to go to the mat and I'm going to leave an affirmation with you to work on. And you continue on with the Nadi Shodhana if you'd like, or just your regular breathing, or doing, our basic 3-part breath coming from the stomach up to the ribs, up to the chest, the Deirdre 3-part breath. And the affirmation is, I am grounded, safe, and secure. I am grounded, safe, and secure. Alrighty, we'll begin our asana practice. I just realized that I wanted to bring a block over, so I'm going to grab that. And if you want, your block is handy, you can grab that. There. So our root chakra is at the base of every pose. So the root chakra is actually the easiest one to work with because there's so much you can do to address your imbalances. And it being at the base of every pose, no pun intended, the areas of your body that the root chakra affect, the physical areas, are your feet, your legs, your hands, your large intestine, and the bones in your body. So it's, think of that real stability that's physical in your legs, your feet, your hands. So as we go through our asanas today, you'll see that pretty much every pose incorporates some or if not all of those. So let's just start with our basic seated pose. Our spine is nice and straight and tall. I usually don't mention that because we've already done that, but we just kind of realign ourselves, make sure our bones are nice and grounded on the mat, and then our spine and back of our neck are sitting nice and tall. And we'll start with our sun breaths and our chest opener. So inhaling deeply while we lift our hands up overhead. And then the palms come together, and on the exhale, we'll bring them down to heart center. And then we'll open up our hands nice and wide. And then exhale, bring them back together. inhale up. And exhale down. We'll do that a couple more times. So inhale. You can go at your own pace. I like nice, long, deep inhales and exhales. And close. Inhale up. And exhale down. One last time. Inhale up. Deep, deep inhales. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, up. And exhale down. Alrighty, we'll bring our right hand to our left knee. Left fingertips come behind our hips, twisting our torso to the left, sending our gaze straight ahead, just kind of stretching out that spine a little bit. I have my shamrock plant here, ready for St. Patty's Day on Monday. Actually, we were surprised it bloomed just in time for St. Patty's Day. So it's on the right schedule. And then we'll twist over to the other side. Left hand goes on the right knee. Right hand goes behind the hips. Just twist our torso to the right, sending our gaze straight ahead. And then coming back to center. And we're going to roll down on our backs. You can have your knees bent or knees straight. I'm going to straighten out my knees and slowly roll down, trying to connect every vertebra of my spine with the mat as I go. And then with our legs straight out, it's reclined mountain pose. And you can, if it's more comfortable when we go into the pose to have your other leg bent, you could try that as well, right? Start with my arms alongside, palms down for support, and lift my right leg up to the sky. I'm going to point toes, and then flex the toes, point the toes, flex the toes, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. And then I'm going to take my right arm and wrap it around my right thigh. And I'm going to bring my leg into the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock positions. So we'll start by guiding it into the 1 o'clock, and then dropping it down to 2 o'clock, and then dropping it, seeing if it reaches 3 o'clock, which it never does. Like 2:45 maybe. And then bringing it back up with our hand, guiding it, and then lowering it down to the mat. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So lifting the left foot up to the sky, point, point, flex, 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 and one last time, point and flex, and then wrap the left hand around the left thigh, and we'll send this over to, maybe I'll scoot over a little bit, to 11 o'clock, down to 10 o'clock, and then maybe, well, I think maybe not 10:30 is as far as I can get on this one, not all the way down to 9 o'clock. And then bringing that leg back up and bringing it back down to the mat. We'll bring both knees to the chest and give them a nice hug and just kind of rock and roll, massage the lower back, wake up the spine. And then you can either roll to your side and get back up. We're going to go to tabletop, or you can rock and roll your way back up to a seated position and cross over. So now, rock up and then cross over my legs, coming to my hands and knees to tabletop position. See, so far we are using hands and legs, our bones obviously. So with a tabletop, our fingers are spread nice wide apart, index finger facing up to the top of the mat. Gentle pressure in the palms of your hands to create that separation between the ears and the shoulders. Knees are right below our hips, navel's tucked to the spine. And we'll gently turn our nose to the right, look over to the right, and then we'll slowly bring it back to center, and then take our nose over to the left side, and then back to center, over to the right again. Just create a nice gentle flow, turning your head from one side to another. And then back to center. And we'll start our cat-cows. So base of the spine, our tailbone, we're going to tuck that under, rounding our back, exhaling, dropping our head down for cat, really stretching out the spine here. Then inhaling up, lifting our head up, tailbone goes up, sending our gaze straight ahead for cow. And then exhaling again, dropping the head and tailbone down. Really stretching out that spine. And then inhaling, lifting head and tailbone up. And then down. And continue a few more times. Maybe synchronizing your breath with your movements. Just really feeling your spine working as it rounds and then comes up and stretches the other direction. And then come back to center. We'll bring both knees together. We'll extend the right foot down to the bottom of the mat, keeping our toe on the mat. And just check in with our hands, make sure the weight of your arms are equally distributed in your hands. And then we'll just lift our right leg up I was wondering what I touched with the block. And then back down again and up. Toes pointed or flex, your choice. And then down again, up and down, up and down, up and down. And bring the knee back to the other knee. We'll do that on the other side. So extending our left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Equal weight distributed in your hands. Lift our toes up and then bring them back down. Lift them up and back down. Bring them up and back down. One last time, up. And then slowly bring it back down, bringing your knee back to the other knee. Then lowering our hips down to our ankles, coming into extended child pose. Really try to bring your hips as far down as you can, stretching out your spine, bringing your forehead down to the mat. And then coming back up to tabletop, we'll tuck our toes under, walk our hands back, coming into a squat position, and pushing down and lifting up, coming into mountain pose. As if we're standing on a mountain. There's a little private joke going on with that right now. So the root chakra, it aligns with an element. All the chakras have their own element. And the root chakra's element is earth. So this grounding, earthing thing is very important. So when we lift our toes up, and if you will, lift your toes up, spreading the toes apart, and then bringing our feet back down to the mat, lifting our heels up, and bringing them back down, we're grounding. We're just connecting to our mat, which connects to our floor, connecting to, well, foundation, and then the earth. So, outside we're really connecting directly to the earth. There's a wonderful phrase that I like to use or to quote, is the plant is free to branch out and blossom when the roots are secure. So when you're grounding, think of your feet really grounding and connecting and setting roots down into the earth. And then having that ability to branch out and blossom from that stability that you feel. And then for mountain pose, we often do our essentials of good posture. So let's just use the chakras as points in those essentials of good posture. So we're going to start with the root chakra. I'm going to just bring my hands to where it is on my spine, at the very base of my spine. And so my legs are nice and straight and strong, gentle bend in the knees. Root chakra is all about the legs and the feet. So we'll work there. And then the sacral chakra comes up. We're going to tuck our navel to our spine, sending our spine, the back of our neck up nice and tall. The solar plexus chakra, we're going to open our chest, open up our diaphragm, and our heart chakra Our shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Our throat chakra, our throat's just tucked in ever so slightly, just pulling our chin back to create that nice long spine, back of the neck and spine. And then our third eye chakra, we're just kind of keeping our head upright. And then the crown chakra, making sure the crown is reaching to the sky. And then we'll lift our hands up with a big inhale. And then exhale, we're going to bring our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go, supporting our lower back. And then inhaling, bringing our hands to our shins, straightening out our spine, the back of our neck, sending our gaze down to really elongate that spine and back of the neck. And then we'll send the crown of the head down toward the mat. Just relax your hands. Don't let them touch the earth. Just let them hang. Let gravity take over. And then we'll sweep our hands from the mat all the way up overhead. As we bring them up overhead, we're going to come up onto our tippy toes. Hands come together, and then slowly we'll bring the hands down as we, with control, lower our heels back down to the mat. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, lifting up slowly, coming up onto your tippy toes slowly with control. And then coming back down. And one last time, sweeping our hands up slowly, coming up onto our toes, slowly, up, 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 stretching, and then coming back down. We'll bring our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands come to the shins, nice flat back. And we'll drop the crown of our head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. We'll go into supported side stretches. So bringing our right hand down to the right thigh, sliding it down toward the right knee, tipping over to the right, and then coming back up. We'll do that on the other side. Left hand comes down, slide it down toward the left knee, and then back up. And one more time on each side. Right hand comes down, sliding it down, and then back up. And last time, left hand comes down, sliding it down, and then back up. Bring both hands back down to the mat, bending your knees. Inhale, hands to shins, nice flat back. Crown of the head goes down toward the mat. Inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Just turn to the side. I'm going to lift my right leg up. My feet are hip width apart. I'm just going to lift my right leg up so that the leg's at a 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to send it back of me. And I can, you have options of either high lunge by landing on the ball of your foot. See how stable you feel there. If that's not feeling too stable, then pivot your heel inward and land on your full foot, coming into warrior one. So your choice. You can try both on each time. Coming back to mountain pose, we'll do that on the other side. Lifting the left leg up, 90-degree angle, and then sending it back, landing on the ball of the foot. See how stable that feels. And if you like, you can pivot your heel, landing on your full foot, coming into warrior one. And then we'll come back. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands come to shins. Back is nice and straight. The spine is nice and long. And then crown of the head comes down, reaching toward the ground. And sweep our hands all the way up overhead again. Hands come together. Palms come to heart center. Palms come to the back of our hips. Fingertips pointing down. Feet are about hip width apart. And we'll do our supported back bend. So we'll just relax our shoulders, tuck our chin toward our chest, and then just gently drop our shoulders back to the point where our breath is still flowing nice and evenly. And then bringing our torso straight up, back to mountain pose. And on we go. We'll start in mountain pose. We're going to lift our leg again up at 90-degree angle. Send our foot further back, bending our left knee, sending our right foot back as far as we can go because we're going to come down into runner's lunge. So in runner's lunge, our knee is right above our ankle, and the left foot, right foot, ball of the foot is on the mat, pushing the heel toward the bottom of the mat. And then we'll bring our right knee to the mat, top of our right foot to the mat, coming into a low lunge. And you can lift your torso up, bring your hands to your heart center, and then lift them up to the air. And then bring our hands back down. And we'll straighten out the left leg as we walk our hands back. And then our left toes are going to start to point up to the sky as our leg becomes more extended. And then we'll walk our hands back. We'll do this one more time. So straightening out your left leg, walking your hands back. As your leg straightens, your toes flex up to the sky. Stretching out the hamstrings. And we'll walk back. And then tucking the back toes under, coming back into runner's lunge. We'll take both hands and walk them over to the right side of the mat and walk them along the long side of the mat. Our toes, we're going to come into a wide-legged stance. Our toes are going to point a little bit pointed into toward each other. So kind of pigeon-toed. We'll walk our hands over to the right foot. Look at our right knee. And then we'll walk our hands over to the left foot. Look at our left knee. And then walk our hands back to center. And then we'll walk our hands toward the back, the other long edge of the mat, bringing the crown of our head down toward the mat. And then we'll walk our hands back to the long side closest to your eyes. And we'll bend our knees gently, lift our hands to our hips, and then send our torso up straight. We'll take both feet and pivot them toward the left, coming in to Warrior Two. And Warrior Two, our knees right above our ankle, just so you can see your big toe. Back foot is nice, the back edge is nice and snug in the mat. Your chest is open to the long side of the mat. You can have your arms either on your waist, facing straight ahead, or if you'd like, you could lift your arms into the Warrior Two. Arms up, shoulder height, and then sending your gaze to your left fingertips. Really feeling that connection with your legs down to your feet, that energy connecting with the earth. And we'll straighten out the left leg and then reach our left hand forward, dropping it down, coming into triangle pose. And then coming back up to Warrior Two. And then bringing our left forearm onto our left thigh, extended right angle, lifting our right arm up to the sky, sending our gaze up to it. And then bringing that right hand down to the mat. We'll bring our left foot back to meet the right foot, coming into plank pose. And then we're bringing both knees down to the mat and coming into tabletop. And we're going to go into what's called cow-faced legs. So that's why I have the block here. So in tabletop, we're going to lift the right leg up, right knee off the mat. Bring that right knee over to the other side of your left leg. Send both feet out to the edges of the mat or even off the mat. And then walk our hands back. And this is where you can either sit on a block, or if you can, you just remove the block, send your sit bones on down to the mat. You may want to try the mat, they got block at different heights. Bringing your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. We're in cat-faced legs. There's an arms version to this, but we'll not do that today. Alrighty, and then we'll come back to tabletop. Bring the legs back into the tabletop pose. Tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to the sky to downward dog. Fingers are nice and wide, gripping the mat. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms nice and straight and strong. Chest reaching toward the thighs. Legs can be stable or still or pedaling. And then we're going to walk our hands to our feet. So not the other way. Walking the hands slowly to our feet. Coming into a forward fold. And then with our hands, we're going to sweep our hands from our feet up along our legs, up to our knees, up to our thighs, and then curling up just like a seedling emerging from the ground, bringing our arms overhead, palms come together, and then palms come to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. This way. So bring our hands up overhead with a nice big inhale. And bringing our hands down to heart center. We'll lift our left leg up. And then extend it far back. And then coming into runner's lunge, bringing our hands to the mat. And then we'll bring our left knee down to the mat, top of our left foot down to the mat. And then we'll walk our, straighten our right leg as we walk our hands back, lifting our toes up to the sky. And then walking our hands back. Oh, that's what I knew. I forgot something. We'll do that right after this then. It's like, what? I know there's another pose that's supposed to come before it. All right, walk our hands, straightening our leg, pointing our toes up to the sky. And then back. And this is the other pose. So we're come into the low lunge. So we're bring our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, and then lifting them up to the sky. And then bringing our hands back down to the mat, tucking our back toes under, coming back to runner's lunge. We're going to walk both hands along the long side of the mat. Again, coming into wide-legged stance. Our toes are a little bit pigeon-toed, pointing toward one another, just slightly. And then we'll walk our hands over to our left leg. Look at our left knee. Then walk our hands over to our right leg. Look at our right knee. And then walking our hands back to center. And then backing up our hands, just bringing them to the back of the long edge, sending the crown of our head down toward the mat. And then walking our hands back, bending our knees gently, bringing our hands to our waist. Then we'll send our torso up straight and pivot our feet over to the right, coming into warrior two. Again, our knee is right above our ankle, just being able to see our big toe, back foot, edge is nice and snug, really feeling that grounding. Chest is open to the long side. You keep your arms on your waist or extend them at shoulder height. Sending your gaze to your right fingertips. And straightening out your front leg. Sending your right fingers forward and then down to triangle pose. And then back up to warrior two. And then extended side angle, bringing the right forearm to the right thigh, sweeping the left hand up and over, up to the sky. And then bringing the left hand down to the mat, coming into runner's lunge, and then sending the right foot back to the left foot. into plank pose, just for a moment. And then bringing the knees down to the mat, into tabletop, and we'll go into that cow face leg position. So this time we're going to lift the left knee over around the right leg. So both knees are on the mat. Send both feet out to the edges of the mat and even off the mat. And then slowly walk back. And you can use the block to sit on, or if you can, slowly make your way down to the mat. Hands come to heart center. And you can feel how active your legs and your feet and your pelvic area is in this pose. All the things of Root Chakra. And then we'll come back to tabletop. Tuck our toes under. Lifting the hips up to downward dog and pedal out here for a moment. And then walk our hands to our feet. So the hands come to the feet. We're in forward fold. And we'll take our hands, place them on the tops of our feet, and slowly sweeping our hands up our legs. We're going to roll up and come, branch out, and blossom. Hands come to heart center. Well done. So our pinky toes go to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in, 45 degrees. Bring our hands to heart center. And then lowering our hips to the mat, we'll come down to wide-legged squat. Elbows are resting on the insides of our knees. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat. We'll come into staff pose. That I always use my fists and push down, lifting my hips off the mat, and then reconnecting them. I could really feel that connection of the base in my spine area. The legs, toes are flexed up to the sky. Spine is nice and tall. That's staff pose. And then we're going to walk our fingers down to our feet. Just slowly pivoting at the waist. And just go as far as what's comfortable for you. And once they reach the feet, if you can grab onto the feet, and maybe lower a little further down. And then we'll drop the fingers and walk them back up, getting that nice straight spine. And then we'll lower ourselves down to the mat. You can use whatever way that works for you. Knees bent, knees straight. Express method, which I'm going to use. Bringing our knees to our chest and giving them a nice hug. And then rocking our lower back and getting that lower back massage, but really the whole entire spine gets involved with this if you really rock nice back and forth. And we'll take our toes and make big circles. The full moon, which was last night. And the night before that total lunar eclipse, which I did get up and look at 3:15. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it was supposed to be blocked out, but evidently it was that rosy color that came over the moon. You can go the other direction as well. So I follow this photographer, Adam Silverman, on Instagram, who's a Vermont photographer, and he captured it. And I'm like, okay, I did see what I was supposed to see then. He's an amazing photographer if you're into photography. Alrighty, and then we're going to put our feet down on the mat, hip width apart. We'll do a few somatic windshield wipers. So bringing your arms out to your side, maybe at shoulder height, and your feet are about hip width apart. We'll drop the knees to the right, sending our gaze over to the left, having our left hand facing up to the sky, right hand facing down to the ground. And then bringing our knees back to center, dropping them to the other side. I'm going to flip our hands, sending our gaze to our right hand now, the right hand facing up to the sky, left hand facing down to the earth. And then back, knees come back to center, head back to center, drop the knees to the right, send the gaze to the left hand comes facing up, right hand facing down to the earth. We'll just do that back and forth, back to center, drop it to the other side, looking to the opposite side, where you send your gaze is open to the sky, other hands facing the earth. And we'll do that a couple more times on each side. Nice, even flow of movement. And then we'll meet back in the middle, back at center. Bring our arms down alongside, palms facing up, a little bit of angle away from the body, sending our feet down to the bottom of the mat, sending them to each corner. And just inhale deeply and exhale through your mouth and just let your body relax into Shavasana. And today's poem I have for you is by Robert Frost, To the Thawing Wind. Come with rain, O loud southwester. Bring the singer, bring the nester. Give the buried flower a dream. Make the settled snowbank steam. Find the brown beneath the white. But whatever you do tonight, bathe my window, make it flow, melt it as the ice will go. Melt the glass and leave the sticks like a hermit's crucifix. Burst into my narrow stall, swing the pitcher on the wall. Run the rattled pages o'er, scattered poems on the floor, and turn the poet out the door.